ruins of an ancient civilization off the coast of St. Bernard Parish.
He claims there are large mounds underwater that may have once been the site of a lost city thousands of years ago.
Paul Murphy reports local fishermen have long talked about strange and unexplained things happening in that area.
The Chandeleur Islands are a chain of uninhabited barrier islands located in the Gulf of Mexico, 50 miles east of New Orleans. But 12,000 years ago, before a dramatic sea level rise at the end of the last ice age, this area may have been dry land.
3 different search areas.
Retired architect and amateur archaeologist George Gillet believes the site, now underwater, was once home to an ancient civilization. He dubbed the city Crescentis.
What's down there is hundreds of buildings that are covered with sand and silt and that are geographically related to the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Giza is a city in northern Egypt where ancient pyramids and the Sphinx are located. Gillet claims to have found mysterious mounds of granite under Chandeleur Sound. Granite is not native to Louisiana or Mississippi.
Somebody floated a billion stones down the Mississippi River and then assembled them outside of what would later become New Orleans.
Now, I know I just added fuel to the people who are always trying to claim that we were already here or that America is Egypt, that was spoken of in the Bible. America is not Egypt. America is not Egypt. Because this civilization was destroyed about 9,000 to 12,000 years ago. That is before any of the writings about Egypt, concerning Egypt, ever came about, before your Israelites were ever even thought of, and there was no such thing as an Israelite. But what this does demonstrate is something that I continue to say. The more we look underwater, the more we're going to find evidence of the Younger Dryas Flood, meaning that 400 feet sea level rise that happened about 12,000 years ago that changed the landscapes of every coastal area on the planet. To give you more of an understanding of it, you had a ice age that happened about 40,000 years ago. As the ice age went along and it started to get to towards the end of it, about 15,000 years ago, you had a deeper freeze. It was warming up, but then a deep freeze happened. That's called the Younger Dryas. When that deep freeze happened, and then something, I think it was solar activity. We don't know exactly what caused it, but something happened and caused for the ice caps from this deeper freeze of the Younger Dryas to melt very rapidly over like a 6-day, 7-day period. And then it flooded all the coastal regions of the planet, causing tidal waves, tsunamis, all kinds of things happening around the world, which is where everybody who was a coastal civilization got their flood stories from. This doesn't make the Noah flood story correct, because at the same time you can claim the Noah flood, you can claim everybody else's flood. Plus, the Noah flood is a more recent flood story in comparison to the Kemetic flood story, the Sumerian, Akkadian flood story, the Polynesian flood story. Everybody else's flood story was written before theirs. But an ancient civilization was found. They built pyramids. All right. They floated granite down the Mississippi River because granite can be found in other areas farther up north of the Mississippi River. So Occam's razor, the most logical straight line answer is most likely the actual answer. Not that they floated, they brought them from Egypt or anything like that, or America is Egypt. And pyramids are the most common shape that you can find and the strongest structure that you can build something in. So pyramids are a natural build for a group mindset. But like I say before, this is just more evidence that prior to the last ice age, there was an intelligent, technically industrious civilization that existed prior to our modern day history, which starts about 8,000 years ago. That there was a civilization that did exist 50, 60,000 years ago and lasted the Younger Dryas was a cataclysmic worldwide event that destroyed that civilization, those civilizations around the world. Is it Atlantis? Is it Mu? Is it Lemuria? Were those the remaining people? And those people were mistakenly, we call them Anunnakis and the Gigis and all these other gods that the people started worshiping because they went to restart civilization according to most of the stories. Because in most of the stories, there was a person who went to restart civilization. Like according to the Kemetic story, Osiris or Asar left Isis and went to restart civilization. According to the Aztecs, Quetzalcoatl came from a boat and a sky boat and restarted their civilization. If you connect that, Osiris left on a boat and started it, and the Thor 2 proved that you can float from Egypt to the Americas, then there may be a connection there. Might be the same person, may not be. According to the Emerald Tablets, Thoth the Atlantean was the one who went around the world because he wasn't given a portion by Anu. He ran around and he established civilizations in the Americas, in Great Britain, in Australia, in all these different places, and is mistaken to be all these different deities that those local people worship. Don't know if any or part of any of those stories are true, but what is in evidence is that there were civilizations that existed prior to the Younger Dryas, and those civilizations are the one that restarted what we now call civilization, what we call the Mesopotamians, what we call the Göbekli Tepe, Taran Tepe, Kemetic, and every other civilization around the world where people were able to survive this Younger Dryas flood, literally throwing them back into a less technological situation, and these people brought back civilization technology back to the people and was able to restart and get us to where we are today. So we got to keep looking under the water near the coastlines, and in about a week, I'll be headed to Bimini. I cannot say Bimini to save my life. I'll be going to Bimini, so I'm definitely going to shoot a video at the Bimini Road if I don't do nothing else while I'm there. But because Bimini Road appears to be another lost civilization where the island of Bimini, of course, would have been flooded and lost most of its landmass, as most of the islands in the Caribbean would have lost theirs during the Younger Dryas Flood, and that could have been where there was an ancient civilization as well. So look forward to that video in about a week or so. We should get there Tuesday of next week. I believe Tuesday of next week is when we'll be in Bimini. So y'all have a great day, and remember always, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.